Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with Darth Mod. As it ended off kind of in a cliffhanger last time, the Russian force had recuperated and decided to attack us and try to retake Don Visco. Not very clever of them, as I outnumber them by about 2,500 men. I have more cannons. What they do have is they've got a lot more cavalry than I do. But then again, this is the famed pike army. That, yeah. They do also have quite a lot of their own type of pike unit, although they do not actually carry pikes. And if you don't remember way back last time we used this one, I kinda used a little bit of a tercio formation in which we had the pike and musket coincide. So we'll see if I can actually use this one now on open field rather than just at that small river crossing. Yes, with that said, let's fight off the Russians, shall we? We have a wonderful battlefield in front of us. It's got a really nice defensible position over on my side, and then in front of us we got a wide open space to use my intended tactics. So if we go over how the map looks, we've got this almost, I would say, impassable town on to my right. There's possibly a way to get up through here, but trying to march through this town is almost impossible, and then trying to fight your way through anything here, especially as you would be under cannon fire throughout the entire time, would more or less be impossible. Then we've got our line going through here, and it actually is along this ridge, which I also think there's possibility that you could get up here. But that could easily be shored away with one infantry unit, and the fact that these are my cannons, or the straight bore cannons, so they would be pelting you with canister long before you try to ascend this hill. Continuing on here, there's a lot of impassable terrain. We've got two grenadiers guarding the pass, the little pass here. In between the cannons. Then we got more infantry and more impassable terrain in front of them. The howitzers in the back, and then continuing on here, we got more impassable terrain, and here comes the first real open area. But this area is blocked off by my infantry, entrenched behind these barricades. And then in front, on both sides of this very entrenched, almost fortress-like position, I have placed two units of light infantry. So we got one over there, one over here, to place spikes to protect against the enemy's cavalry charge if they make it through. And yeah, we've got two units here. What we can do is we can send this one to guard this area here, and then this one, which is a garrison one, so it's even larger than the other ones, which are 300. This one's 450, so 150 men more, which will be plenty enough if anyone managed to try and get over there. And then I said we were going to try out the kind of tercio formation in a bigger way, so that's what we have in front, and I've split them into two rather than making one long line. Now I did have quite a bit of extra line infantry, like I didn't really need to cover all this area probably. I could have added on to the flanks of the units to put extra gunners into this these formations, but I think they'll be fine as they are. We'll see how this works out. And yeah, enough talking, let's go ahead and start the battle, shall we? Start by having this one make its way over here. And we start off with a barrage of howitzer shots and cannon shots hitting the most forward units of the enemy. Cavalry unit, dragoons getting smashed, and then we can see the cannons are firing in towards the Russian cannon position. which have yet to return fire. We're gonna bring this 450 man strong unit over to... I'm actually gonna think we're gonna start off by putting it up here. Just because it will have more of a commanding view down towards the town from up here, rather than I place it here, as it will only have this small venue. The thing is, if the enemy comes here, I can easily put it on an angle here, and they still would have to climb all this terrain to get up here. I'm just gonna check. We're firing round shot, and these should be... these are also firing round shot. Disappointing. We will want to fire explosive. And now to set the stakes. The enemy is returning some fire towards my Tercio formation. I'm banking on the fact that my artillery will easily outgun the enemies and should blow them to smithereen. And I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't do that within the first bloody volley. Let's see. Okay, so explosive shots does not reach, and round shot doesn't reach either. So we'll keep explosive then, and we'll have to bank on my normal artillery to break down the enemy's artillery position, which they've already done a pretty good job at. They haven't broken any guns, but I mean, this one here in the corner has been totally put to shambles. Not entirely sure why the Russians have deployed spikes on both sides of their artillery, but I guess it's kind of a hedgehog, making sure that we cannot at all get through it. Now the enemy has made an advance. Oh shit. Unfortunately, our artillery, or the howitzers, blew up our own units here, kind of breaking this unit. But my Tercio formations seem to be holding. There is going to be an unusual high amount of friendly fire. What we might do to reduce the friendly fire is, since the enemy is nowhere near close enough to draw into melee as of yet, we can have the gunners move to a more forward position in the units and then retreat to the position in the back later on. So we'll have them advance, and also it might very well be advisable for me to be more engaged in controlling where the howitzer shots are landing. We got a regiment of militia of the Strelsk moving in with the halberdiers. So it would be nice to maybe blow them to pieces before they actually reach my spikes. It's cavalry dealing over there. They're not gonna do too well. Right, the Strelts are moving forward, and I think we'll have to abort the howitzer blasts towards them and instead aim that. Okay, we fired a little bit, it's way too close to the rest of our units, so fire instead towards the Cossacks in the back. Alright, I'm hoping we break them before they even reach us. And they seem to be focusing more towards the pikes, and there's going to be more of a fight against the pikes rather than the unit there. The light infantry, what we might do is have both the light units deploy in light formation in between here. Alright, so we have a melee fight that started off here. Now it could be that the Strelts could be winning this one, inspired by nearby unit, and they're losing slightly. Once the light infantry come into play, I think that we will turn that around, as they will have flank fire coming at them. Enemy cavalry is charging in. I am yet to pull back the infantry unit, but I think this might very well be the time to pull them back and then have them fire into the flank of the cavalry. Similarly what this one is doing. Over on this side, probably need to do the same for these two units to pull them back. And hope that we can fire. Okay, so the light infantry units kind of ran into enemy dragoons and also then position themselves in a very weird way. I want them to retire, and then I want the howitzers to focus in on the infantry units in the middle there. Okay, well, I guess I would need to pull this unit even further back. Now we're actually getting surrounded by the enemy cavalry because of the gap there in the center. Getting flank charged there, but I mean they're going against pikes. The light infantry, I think, will fall back even further and enjoy the coverage of the troops on the ridge behind them. If they would actually keep their original positions. My tercio formation is working as intended, as these guys are able to fire upon the enemy through, while the pikemen are holding the melee portion of the battle at bay. This part of my formation is actually kind of falling apart because it's getting attacked on all sides. And then also because the units here aren't really engaged in the fighting. Why don't you sit behind the wall, and then we can see about rearranging some of this. The enemy cavalry is retreating over there, so the pikes and the musketeers can move forward. The guys have set themselves behind the wall. Good cover to fire against the Russians. But I don't know if my pike formation will hold, and it just broke. Got some fire over here. The pike formation here is still going strong. We still got light infantry here, and let's see. Redirect howitzer shots. European mercenaries. I mean, the tercio formation is working in a way. In most areas. A lot of arrows coming in there. 150 of the pikemen there still managed to get out. Oh, it's 2 units of pikemen that are retreating, in fact. This unit is not going to do too well, so I'm ordering it to form square. It's too close to actually receive cannon support. Do I dare fire over here? I mean, there's a... Oh, the units here are about to get surrounded. I will order of them to fire there, and then this unit will retire to... We'll redraw the entire line, kinda. By having that one go there, the pike staying there, and you changing a little bit of your formation. Right, this musketeer unit needs to pull back. So it can fire on the Russian infantry and leave the pikes to fight in the melee. I think this one needs maybe to go in a little bit further back, even further back still. Firing. Okay, yes. My pike unit, I imagine, is retreating. Yeah, only 18 men survived of that unit, but it looks like a lot of the Russian units are being forced back, as well as my howitzer shots are devastating that area. Most of the enemy on the left are destroyed, and it looks like the right is about to get destroyed as well. I want to be more careful with the howitzer shots. Maybe fire towards the light infantry out there instead. Now it's just reorganizing what we have. So we've got light infantry here, shooting towards the enemy over here. My line of foot is fighting over here against a Russian line of foot. Russian line of foot which is backed up by Cossacks. Well, it looks like they're about to retreat. Pikemen over here. Why aren't you firing into the flank of those guys? And I think you can redirect yourself in a little bit of a way, and then a pikeman move over there. Oh! Where were you? Big pike regiment is coming back into the fight. Not entirely sure where they went. Not entirely sure that I like that the way the units reorganize themselves without my order. I'm hoping these pikes hold. Anyways, I don't think the 14th Regiment will do that much against us. Most of the enemy here is getting broken down. Why aren't you firing? Still fighting over here. This small regiment. Only 34 men. We need to aid those guys in a big way. Get the pikemen over there. And then, since there's not a lot of enemies left on this side, we'll have the line infantry advance. And have the pikemen advance. As the light infantry was actually broken down there. This unit of European mercenaries have actually stood, or Eastern European mercenaries have actually stood against the fire of our ridge quite well. I'll redirect the grenadiers on the hill to be able to shoot them down, and then we might redirect the howitzers to fire at some light infantry down there. The enemy is pulling back there. The pikemen, what's left of them, will move to the flank. Yet another cavalry attack towards the tercio formation of the Tatars. Hit and run tactics. It's not working too well for them. I can see most of the Russian army is now in retreat. That little unit of 13 men left, hopefully it survives. The pikemen did their job over there. And we can see the enemy routing on all sides, really. Got the general over here. Ooh. Can we redirect to fire canister, or maybe shrapnel shot? Oh, that's going to be dangerous though with the position of my army. So we're just going to put them out of the way. The enemy general is going to retreat anytime soon anyways. They're redirecting the cannons. I can see them redirecting, firing, having those canister shots. It's kind of interesting to see because the canister shot actually bounces on the ground. They hit the ground and then you can kind of see how they bounce upwards. The enemy general was not killed, but his bodyguard was maimed. There he goes. Now he died. He was actually a great general compared to the generalship of my general. What's left is one regiment of horse, which is hiding out there, which is not going to hide for long. My cannons will hold fire. Switch to round shot and open fire, and that is enough for the enemy's regiment of horse. It's wavering, so it's not yet. Oh, there we go. We were victorious. I don't think any units ever tried to go through here. And I mean, the tercio formations lost quite a lot of men, but then again, I basically split my army in two, having one part, or actually a larger part in the back, entrenched in these entrenched positions, while maybe a third of my army forward here in the sort of tercio formations, facing off the entire Russian army, which, I mean, I did outnumber them by 2,500 men, but it's not that much when you actually compact the troops on the front line like that. There is, however, a lot of dead Russians on this field, and hopefully most of my units have survived. A great battle indeed, and let's just then go ahead and end it and take a look at the actual statistics. One thing that I find kind of funny though is I've only really seen, I don't think I've ever seen it really in Napoleon that much. It's mostly in Empire. It's when I go to look at the replay, the terrain sometimes changes, and changes in a big way as well. Like the topography of the map would completely change. So the high ground here would turn into the low ground, and then the low ground would turn into the high ground. And in one particular battle that I did rather recently, when I looked at the when I tried to look at the replay, a village had spawned on the right side of right in the middle of the battlefield, which wasn't there before. And as I said, in the actual battle, I started on kind of a high slope. And that topography had just done a 180 and switched. So instead of having my troops march downwards, they were marching upwards, and a lot of the like formations and stuff became completely wrong because of the topography was changed in such a big way, which is kind of is really strange. And I don't know exactly why that would be happening. But with that said, let's go ahead and check the statistics. And here we have the results of the battle. We deployed 10,000, the enemy deployed 7,500. We lost a surprisingly high amount, but then again, the Russians lost a lot more than I thought. So we lost almost 4,000 men, which is roughly 40% of our army. While the enemy lost almost, I don't know how much that is, but that's up towards 80% of their army, as they deployed 7,500 and lost about 6,500. Only 1,000 of them remaining. This time around, I'll make sure to charge after them and crush them, so we don't have to deal with them again. I'm pretty sure they lost a fair few units anyways. Interesting to note here when I actually look at it is that enemy killed is 5,100, while enemies lost. So I don't think that's the enemy team killing itself. I think it's just how the weird way the artillery works. Because I don't think the team killed 1,200 men of their own. Seemingly we did something similar with about almost, well, 1,100 difference here, as they killed 2,700 and we lost 3,800. Highest kills goes to a line infantry unit. Doesn't actually say which one, but we can see that it still didn't get a chevron. This one, however, did, which lost everyone almost, but except 13 men. I wonder if this one actually survived. Do we see one that only has 13 men somewhere? It would be nice, because that one was the one that fought in melee against the enemy. I doubt it. 13 men is not a lot out of a regiment of 300. Gained a lot of chevrons. A lot of units gained a lot of chevrons throughout here. Yeah, pretty good. One thing that I kind of think that I probably should have sent in more was the cavalry. So what I could have deployed the cavalry actually next to Or say the hole that was in between the two tercios, which the enemy actually quite effectively used to their advantage, the fact that they were able to pull through there. Probably should have placed my cavalry there. Could have probably saved maybe 1,000 of my own men, or it could be that I just slaughtered all my cavalry. As it is the enemy's turn, we'll go ahead and let it run through, and maybe there's another battle or something. Not that I can fit another battle. But yeah, let's go ahead and end this turn. Right, so it actually was my turn? I don't know. They were attacking me. It went directly over to being my turn, which is kind of strange because they were attacking me. The army is quite battered, but we should be able to pursue them and destroy them. There are not a lot of them left. Dagestan, oh yeah, Dagestan declared war on me for some reason, for some god-awful reason. Can march there and destroy them on our way to going to Astrakhan. The spy can tell me what's actually at Astrakhan. We need to leave a bit of a garrison because there is an army here moving in. They're gathering troops around Moscow. I'm not gonna sit behind the walls, so we're gonna go and charge out and get these guys. And that should clear up a lot of this. We do have one army here, which we need to deal with. They do burn a lot of their own territory. This one could cause maybe a little bit of trouble if it gets through somewhere. We are building up a force here, which should be ready to move pretty soon. They have moved out a lot of the men that were here, which will make it a lot easier for this smaller army to actually go and take that out, which would be nice. Secure the northern flank of the Moscow region, so the Moscow army could have a possible route of advance wherever I want to send it. So that's kind of what's going on there. 2 more turns, or 1 more turn, until the Moscow region has to, or no, Moscow, the Kiev region has to actually come out of the fort to attack us. As we go through here, I guess we've got these movements, the cavalry. No, it's is it still my turn? Or is it... No, this is the new turn, right? Should be, because this army is now almost at full strength and should be making its way towards the enemy capital. So we'll start marching them. And then this one should wait for replenishment. This one has enough cannons, I think. You know what? We might just as well. There's no point in there, so we might just as well move them over there. Or maybe split them. There was maybe too many cannons for this army. Or at least howitzers, so we'll send one over to this army. Then there is a few slots, so we could send over 4 units. And that should fix that. I've got here, what do we need here though? I've already got a church, so let's build a crafts shop instead. How's it looking for this army? This one could use quite a bit of extra troops. We could send over 3 from over there. And then 3 from over here. To beef this army up. It's all infantry and a few howitzers. But it's just the numbers enough. I think we could be able to go and deal some defeats to the Austrians in this region. Don't really need my spy to go any further, I think. It's nice enough that we've got a good view of the region of Bavaria. Then the armies down here, they still need replenishing. Cavalry, since the enemy is increasing its presence over in Hungary, we need to do that as well. Once the cavalry links up with this army, should be able to at least start the siege. It's
too close though, I think, to Vienna. So what we'll do is we'll wait, lay siege to this, and then just to have this army not come in and join the Austrians defending over here. I'm hoping to drag the enemy into a field battle instead than to fight them at the walls. Still building up this army. Should hopefully be done pretty darn soon. Got some extra troops coming in. That'll be nice. But yeah, I think that's about it for this episode. What I want to do is I really want to smash the Ottoman Navy down here. And I am trying to build a navy here, but I'm thinking we should take one and try to go around. Right now the enemy, our enemies, don't really control any ports along the coast, do they? So we should be able to make it quite far before we actually run into the Ottomans, and hopefully we will be able to run all the way up here to break the blockade. So we'll take... They're both same, and they both have the same level of... Oh, there's a Mughal Empire navy that we would have to crush first. Or then go around. I don't know. If I crush the Mughal navy, I'll probably make it further, but then again, it'll probably... Oh, he's already going. I was about to say that as I would probably out-resolve it, it would, you know, probably cause way too... Oh, look at that! A Ottoman invasion force. Where could that be going? I mean, the Ottomans are... Who are they at war with? They're at war with us, the pirates, and the Dutch. So they could be going against the Dutch. But that seems unlikely. Most likely they're going against us because we have taken so much territory from them. Unlike the Dutch. So it's really good actually that we sent the navy. Then we'll have a naval battle here next time. And then we'll figure out where to go next here or end in Russia. Well, we've got the battles that we got ahead of us is for next in this turn is the battle over here. That's a battle. I think this one's probably off camera. Striking out, taking out this one is off camera and starting the march towards there. But that's about that for that side. Here there's really nothing. We need to wait for a lot of troops to recuperate, so there's nothing here. So it really is then this one and the naval battle here that we can do in this turn. And then, oh yes, I forgot about these guys. Replenish these. Let's see. We need to give them a new officer, and maybe what we'll do is we'll merge a lot of these units. Then we'll strike these out and take out the pirate fortress. We have 2 cannons now. That's good. So we'll take the navy, or we'll take the cannons, I mean. Put them on the navy. Store them away! And then we'll take the navy and land it for the commander. We'll land at that port. Disembark the cannons. And as if we didn't already have a great advantage over the oh, I could fight. I guess this one's the next one though. Or if this one's also kind of an out-resolve. think we have had enough of pirates. This one is close though. But I don't think I have enough time for more battles in this episode. So once again, I leave you guys at a cliffhanger. And we'll see what I decide, if I do another pirate battle. Or if what we'll do is do more of a substantial battle somewhere in Europe. But with that said, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!